Hey folks, this is another episode of the Rocket Minute. I'm giving a little bit more priority to the grant I'm applying for. I'm attempting to develop a propulsion, hybrid aircraft propulsion system, and of course, excuse me, I need the funds for that. And I'm not going to give away any information on the grant, but I'm thinking, this thing made some noises. I'm thinking, first of all, I want to keep myself out of these videos. Second of all, I did just make a mistake in cutting this motor tube material, but that's okay. If I limit the size, well, no, I'm getting off. What I'm doing right now is I'm cutting motor tube material and I'm cutting upper motor section material. And then we're going to end up sanding these down and then attaching them with double-sided tape. But right now I'm just cutting the material, machining material. The rest I can put together by hand. I wanted to make this a short video because I do have a bunch of things to do tonight. I do have an engagement in Costa Mesa around 10:20 p.m. I'm going to go see a special movie. And then, of course, I need to get something to eat. I think I maybe need to take some headache medication as well. But this video, we're gonna cut these two pieces. Then that's it, and then we're gonna stop, and we're not stopping. We're gonna cut the upper motor housing centering pieces, and then once I have all the pieces fabricated, then we're going to do like a short video tonight. I'll do a second video tonight. It'll be about 5 or 10 minutes showing you the individual parts for a 4-engined rocket. I call it a Lily class 4-power rocket. I think it's kind of a silly name now. I don't want to do anything trendy or weird. This is an entirely technical adventure, but I'm very passionate about it. So we're going to get started. Put your earplugs in. Turn the volume up loud. Don't forget. I almost said don't remember. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. My name is Jason Wampler. This is another episode of the Rocket Minute. Here we go. I used to use a 3/4 inch grinder for this. That damn thing makes so much of a mess. I went ahead and invested about $26. I got this from Walmart. It's hyper tough. They're not the best tools. You got to watch out for them. The bearings in these are kind of cheap, but it'll do for now. If it fails, I'll just take it back to Walmart and get another one. But the ones you get from Hypertough from Walmart, they come with cutting attachments, the tool to tighten them on. It also comes with a variable speed down here. Now, if you go to, let's say you go to Harbor Freight, they're a lot less expensive. You can get them you can pick them up for a little less than $14. They don't come with variable speed control, and they don't come with the attachments. So, if you want attachments, you have to spend another $10. So 10 plus 14 is just 24. So you're going to end up spending about the same either way. Harbor Freight tools, if you get the Chicago Electric multi-purpose tool, which is what these call, it's half moon cutter, you're looking at setting yourself back by about $24, $25. Maybe spend $26.50, $27 at Walmart. The thing is, though, the tool, Chicago Electric tools tend to last a lot longer than Hypertough tools do. You really do get what you pay for. I don't know about Drill Master from Harbor Freight. They do want to cancel. I think they want to cancel the line of Drill Master tools. But Harbor Freight from time to time comes up with its own brands, and they embarrass themselves, but because they cheap Chinese manufactured tools don't last that long. I'm not sure what the status is between the United States and China regarding the trade war, so I can't say anything political about that. Let's get started cutting these in half. Now I finished fabricating these parts and the other parts for the rocket motor housing, the forward housings to keep the rocket motor still. Then I'm going to show you everything else that we've got. That'll be a second video to come right after this, or I might just make it one continuous video. Let's see how it goes. All right, here we go. Turn on the tool. Plug your ears. By the way, don't take me as a good example. I'm a bad example. I'm not wearing safety glasses. You don't have to wear gloves, but it does prevent little injuries like this. and I don't know, that one kind of went away. And there's another injury here, but yeah, ear. You know, you might want ear protection, but definitely eye protection. I'm setting a really bad example, so the next time you see me in a video doing cutting work or machining work, if I'm just doing assembly work, I don't need safety glasses, but I should be wearing safety glasses for this. This is the last time I do it. Like I said, I don't want to be one of those people, one of those online teachers where I tell you, do as I say, not as I do. So here we go. And I get the rotor running too. It's on full speed. Look how loud this thing is, by the way. That's just the bearings, if anything. Okay, so I've done it on minimum. So I'm cutting anodized aluminum. That's a lot cleaner. It chews up less material. Makes less of a mess. When people are trying to watch the fact that the button for a certain super and grinder broke off. I dropped the dump thing. The rotator, you know, that I cut it a little quicker. Every once in a while, make sure to line it up. You don't want a spiral cut like you want to see the top window. Okay, that's it. This is the actual motor housing that's going to carry the fuel cartridges. And we need 4 more just like it. That's awfully short. Oh well. Rectify it. So let it down. Keep letting it down. Kind of roll it back and forth and hit the edges a little quicker. Speed up the cutting process. And line it up on the top end. Like I said, the old spiral cut too. Spiral cut on anodized aluminum. You're going to have to use a super and grind down the material. Machine shop stuff. I haven't even launched the rocket yet. I don't know, 4 years. I'm paying for myself. It takes a lot longer to cut this way, but I tell you, it's a lot cleaner cut, a lot less mess. That super and grinder is really tearing the metal up. Look at that, that's a much cleaner cut. A little bit of spiral in it, that makes it really clean it up. I will figure that out. So that's just like that. Now, I'll let the blend down a little bit. One thing I do want to warn you about, these hyper tough tools from Walmart, the bearings, I'm sorry, that was gross. These bearings, they're, for whatever reason, they're real cheap. Either they're not lubricated internally properly, seals walk off, you get them wet, moisture gets in, the little balls and caves start to rust. If they rust, and if the balls and caves and the ball bearing rust, they hang up. They seize. If you force them to break the cage, and the ball bearings start falling out. If they don't, pieces of the cage stay in, and it hangs the bearing up. And if the bearing gets hung up, the tool gets hung up. So watch yourself. Hyper tough tools. I know I'm doing it. Again, I'm a hypocrite, but I've got a hyper tough block sander. It's like a jig sander with a motor that has an offset with a counterweight, and the base bearing is just taking a beating. But you know, those base bearings, they should know ahead of time. Those base bearings carry the max load for that entire tool. The rest of the tool is made fine, but that base bearing is really cheap. The seal blew out, all the grease went out, the balls in the cage hung up, the thing, it got louder, thing hung up on me and it started turning up the cage, and those little cage pieces, they just hung up between the balls and the 2 races of the bearing, blew out the seal. I had to take the thing out, I had to take the bearing out and take it apart. The bearing has a special hip on the top side that mates with the counterweight, because the jig sander, the little block sander oscillates, and you can't have it be imbalanced because it'll yank all over the place. So that race for that bearing is really special. Unless you've got a machine shop or a machinist who can custom make you another one, you have to call up Walmart's vendor and order another bearing. And I didn't want to do that. I just wanted the darn thing to work. So I had to even up the panel legs and square sand the ends with some tubes. I didn't show that because this isn't the tool minute. This is the rocket minute. Anyway, I got this water running. I'm going to turn that off. I am going to keep talking because this is supposed to be an instructional video. And you know what? Gosh darn it, I'm going to pick even pan leggings, or as much as I possibly can. Okay, so I don't have a rag for whatever reason. Hold on, let me see where the heck that rag is. I'll be right back. I might have put it in the dirty clothes. And you know what? It looks like I did. Never mind. Okay, I'm back. So, okay, so the motors are going to be very short. So, all things being equal, unfortunately, balancing motor parts for cars, you have to go with lightest weight. If you're balancing a set of metal parts, you always have to go with the lightest weight part and match all the rest of the heavier parts with the lightest weight part. You can't always add length or depth or width to a part that's the lightest and then subtract from it. In some cases you're forced to, you have to. That requires special machining. The Wasserboxer engine that goes in the Volkswagen Vanagons, which is basically an air-cooled Volkswagen Bug engine with water jacks attached, is a real beast. It's a real nightmare engine. It's a good, smooth-sounding engine. It's a water-cooled Beetle engine, but when you go to rebuild it, those things are monsters. I mean, you can drop about $10,000 into one of those motors, and if you want to get your Vanagon running, they made air-cooled Vanagons for a while before they started putting the Wasserboxer in. And Volkswagen's biggest mistake was that stupid motor. The funny thing is, you still see Vanagons on the road these days. And it's 2023. Those Vanagons are approaching 40 years old. They're as old as the combi vans. I've owned probably about 30 or 40 Volkswagens in my life. And as of right now, I don't own any. I own a beat-up Toyota station wagon. And all things being equal to that, I really do love that station wagon. But it's just got the most horrendous paint job. I got to do something about that. Anyway, I'm just talking. What I'm doing is I'm stacking these end on end because I need to do several things. And I'm just going to go ahead. No, the wrong way, dummy. Oh my goodness, I goofed up. Okay, so this is electrical tape. In your supply box, I'm going to teach you how to build these 4-power rockets, which actually is what I'm kind of doing right now. But in the interest of expediting the process, these rockets are not really that difficult to build as long as I show you how to build them and you build them the right way. The thing is, though, you know what? I might, for the sake of time, use a 3/4 inch grinder. Now I've got a special way of keeping that grinder on, and if I videotape my own death, swear to God, it's going to be I'm going to be a YouTube legend. John Ball will start talking about me and all that good nonsense. Anyway, I got this wrong. I'm going to push that back and up. Anyway, oh my goodness. Here we go. Okay, that's a sticky side. I want to really tape these guys. And you know what? I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm going to go ahead and get a couple of zip ties. So I got some stuff here. There's a good opportunity to take some trash back to the trash can, which I think would be a good idea for me to bring up front. So I'm going to do two things. Oh my God, that is really uneven. Oh well. I'm going to bring zip ties in the trash can here. I'll leave this tape behind. By the way, that's a trash can. By the way, I also brought my box center. God dang, you cannot choreograph this stuff. Cables really have a mind of their own, I think. Unseen spirits, dead engineers following around, making as much trouble, time-consuming trouble for me as they possibly can. So here we go, and here we go. 3 different places for plugging in tools. Dumb thing better not turn on. Plug in.
Nope.
It does not. Thank you. Here is my block sander. This is the one I was talking to you about. I had to rebuild the bearing in. You know, block sander, guys, block sanders, they have to work in wet conditions. You know, electric block sanders need to be double insulated. If you're wet sanding a car with a block sander, I mean, obviously you're going to create a lot of experience a lot of moisture. You know what? I don't think. I gotta be honest with you guys. I'm gonna cut this electric tape off. This is not working. They're just not lining up the way I want them to. And I do not want these motor segments any shorter than they have to. I was just hoping to make longer segments. So this is going to be this rocket will be a short burst rocket. It'll lift off the pad fairly quickly, but it'll probably only gain about probably 3,500 feet, 4,000 if I'm real lucky. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to put those at the base like that. And, you know, no more. You know, I say it's times like this I wish I had. I wish I had longer zip ties too. Oh well. Now, be patient with me, folks. This is part of the educational experience. And you know what? I don't think that is going to work there. These are too short. Okay, so I'm going to have to use two. If you have zip ties that are too short to do one job, why don't you double up like this, put one zip tie in another, and do them like this. By the way, I'm dirt poor, so I keep reminding people, hit the like, hit the subscribe. I'll figure out how to monetize this channel when I grow up. That was a joke. I never grow up. There, these work better. Much, much better. And guys, I am going to take a leave of absence for about 5 seconds. I got to get, and I want to make absolutely, positively sure these are even up. You'll see the reason why I'm doing this. I just want to make absolutely sure that I do not cut these motors any shorter than they have to be cut. Let me get 3 more of these and cut them close. And we'll even up the pan rates on those motors. It is 4, just in case. All right, here we go. Fun fact, I also finished up watching a movie with that new movie with Michelle Yeoh in it. Everything Everywhere All the Time. It's actually a fairly good movie. Not quite my speed, but it was well made nonetheless. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, then I recommend viewing it. If you're into death, destruction, and action, then maybe something else would be more suitable for you. Okay, let's see. Okay, so I just pull these. By the way, pull these guys as tight as you can without breaking them. I'm probably gonna end up breaking one. Process of saying that. Okay, so and then. Okay, so it's funny because I remember pushing these down. Okay, there we go. I had one extra. I actually took 3 instead of 2. Yeah, I think I did 4 instead of 3. Excuse me. Okay, so again, pull these as tight as you possibly can. Keep these tubes from moving because, like I said, you're gonna cut them all even. The thing is, it's clean as that 3/4 inch. It's clean as this guy cuts them. It takes a long time. So there we go. And this is a finished. This is a finished pair of snipping pliers. You want to see that right there. To see the profile there, the cutting edge angles downwards so that when you cut the end of the zip tie, you see that how that's flush right there. Then that little piece sticking up. These are actually very painful. Can cut your skin if you use a regular big pair of dikes, cutting pliers. Because the cutting pliers, the base angle of the cutting edge is angled upwards, so no matter how flush you try to get it, it's going to leave like about a 2 millimeter height of uncut plastic. That plastic comes to a point, and believe it or not, this plastic is very sharp, and it can really scrape you up if you have to work it. I've worked in close proximity applications where I was doing fine electronics in a closed area on a prototype power inverter. Now, the first prototype power inverter was a disaster. I mean, the 400 watt side worked, but the 100 watt portion power inverter just took a dump. That also was from Walmart, so I'm thinking Walmart's not a final destination for tools anymore. But they've got other good stuff that I can't get anywhere else. Okay, and the other thing is I drilled too many holes in the load side where I had an outlet box, a gang box, drilled to the side of it with some machine screws, or actually some wood screws, and I dropped it, and because it had so many holes in the wall, it had no structural integrity. It was in a Walmart clear box, which was really brittle, again, hyper tough, and the darn thing broke the wall. I go to grab the underside of the gang box, thinking it wouldn't move, and it pulled out a quarter of an inch. And I investigated and determined it was my mistake, but it's also my mistake for getting too many tools from Walmart, so I'm thinking of repenting from that particular sin and doing something else. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and cut it with this tool. This 3/4 inch grinder, I actually have to stick a small screwdriver to hold it still. It has what's called a breaker switch type on-off switch. It's a dual-purpose switch. The switch overheats. It turns the tool off from too much amperage, from backloading the motor, from really trying to push the grinder through instead of letting the speed of the grinder do the work. A lot of people make that mistake. They break wheels. Even if they're wearing safety glasses and a hard hat, you can still hit yourself in the side of the face, cut your cheek open from an exploding wheel. By the way, these masonry grinding wheels, the 7-inch, it's the darndest thing. I tell you, if the base of those grinding wheels doesn't have a metal ring on it, or they're too thin, and they wobble around in the arbor, and you hit them just the right way, those damn things explode. And I mean, when they explode, they sound like a firecracker. They pop really loud, and they send shrapnel everywhere, about probably 60 to 80 miles an hour. So you got to be careful of those things. Using a 3/4 inch grinder, I'm not going to do it tonight. You do have to wear safety glasses, but you might even want to consider wearing a sandblaster's sock over your head so you don't cut your face open. Safety glasses protect your eyes. You only get 2 of them, and I recommend those. Safety gloves, in my opinion, depending on what you're using them for, can be very, very dangerous. They can actually do more harm than help. I keep my hands free because I can feel if something's trying to shock me or something's slipping in my hand. It's going to create a hazardous condition. You wear gloves, you don't always have a tight grip on things. Maybe the rubber's worn out, maybe you're wearing cloth gloves, and you can't feel when the surface is too hot, or if there's cooling air blowing out of the tool that you're blocking and the tool overheats. So as a habit, I've never worn safety gloves. I don't like them, but I've had things come so close to my eyeballs. I've actually had some debris shoot in my eye. I had a melted piece of ABS shoot right on the top of my eyeball, my left eyeball. I looked in the mirror and I couldn't see anything from my vision, but I looked in my eye in the mirror, my left eye, it had a very, very tiny black speck melted into my eye over my cornea. And I thought to myself, well, it doesn't hurt, it doesn't irritate, it's not limiting my vision. And I thought it was cool. And I looked at it again about 2 weeks later and it was gone. So the body naturally heals itself. But if you're cutting ABS, and I'm going to be instructing on how to cut ABS, because sometimes ABS will have a practical application in larger sounding rockets, micro launch vehicles, and large experimental sport rockets. Again, I have to set the example here. I'm just using this tool and a jig sander, so they're not going to really throw stuff. I don't really get good dust protection, but all the same, if you work with a high-speed rotary tool like a bench grinder, a table, a spindle sander, I recommend getting spindle sanders if you have a place to put them and you can afford one. But you're working with a rotary handheld power tool, a rotary shop tool, a drill press, a bandsaw, anything where the tool's end spins at a high rate of speed, especially a mortise, biscuit joiner, a planer. You will use planers. By the way, if you can afford a shop planer. I'll tell you how to set up a shop to build really professional looking high-powered model rockets. You got to have the cash for that. But all the same, what are those called? Mill tools. The mill tool itself is a tool cast and machine tool steel with a ball bearing at the end of it. That's it. And a damn thing spins up to 30,000 RPM. It catches subject you're trying to mill the end on to make a mating dovetail pieces for like a fitting pieces for a motor set system for one of your rockets, and a damn thing catches the wrong way. Safety glass is not the only thing you're gonna need. That can kick that tool, that can kick that subject back, that piece of wood or phenolic or ABS or bakelite or a rod or anything back in your chest and do some real serious damage. So if I show you how to set up a workshop, you're going to need to wear a protective apron, a long sleeve work shirt, not short sleeve, and definitely eye protection. When you're working with stuff where you think, well, the blade is a little old, and if you can't replace it, then definitely wear a sandblaster sock over your head, and then wear the safety glasses, and be very careful. Don't follow me as an example. Anyway, we're at the 26-minute mark, and I don't like to make these videos too long. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and cut to this. I'm going to leave off the 3/4 inch grinder because it just is too hard to keep the thing on with the little flap on-off switch turned on. I think I may just end up retrofitting it to just a simple on-off switch, and I'll put a fuse in line somewhere inside the body of the tool itself. Here we go. Get the water running. Let down the tool, let down the subject. It's actually cutting pretty good. Let's keep the subject wet. This is an absolutely wonderful tool that I will not give up. I'm thinking, folks, that you've seen me make extensive use of the 3/4 inch grinder to do everything to cut aluminum motor tubes, fuselage tubes to cutting pins. It really is like mowing a strawberry patch with a hatchet. So instead, I'm just going to go ahead and use this multi-purpose tool. And honest to goodness truth, before I finish all 7 of my rocket prototypes, which we're going to be showing on the Rocket Minute, and eventually we're going to launch them, I think this tool is probably going to take a dump on me. I'm going to end up having to buy a Chicago Electric or a nice Bauer, something from Harbor Freight. Get something from Milwaukee. By the way, the top rated tool of all time are Milwaukee's. I got a Milwaukee a low-speed, high-torque drill. I got it out of a trash can of all places. The trash had just been picked up, and somebody threw 2 air staplers, pneumatic staple guns, and a Milwaukee drill. And then the Milwaukee drill had a frayed end where the cord went into the tool. So I replaced the tool, I replaced the brushes, I scrubbed down the casings, re-lubricated everything. I made a mistake because you think, what did I do? I didn't put it like a rubberized bushing in and it started smoke. I took the back apart, I put the bushing back in, and now I have a low-speed, high-torque Milwaukee drill, and it runs just fine. And the person threw it in the trash. This drill is probably used, it's probably worth $100. Somebody probably picked this drill up for about $250 or $300. Milwaukee tools are expensive, but they're expensive for a reason. Now, I'm going to keep these together. It's really, really critical that these guys are absolutely even Steven. Now, we got a marble countertop or whatever, a false granite marble top here. I have a right angle too, and it's a yellow one. I got that from Harbor Freight for like $2. The Harbor Freight, most of the stuff you get there is good. Some of the stuff is crap, but most of it's good, and their prices are reasonable. Although Harbor Freight's prices are going up, but in conjunction with the rising cost of tools at Harbor Freight, they're making they're offering really high quality parts. So I'm really happy with them. I just want to do a close-up. These 4 motor casings are going to have fuel grains in them. Right now, fuel, it consists of potassium nitrate and corn syrup as a binder. And that's pretty much it. Sugar fuel is dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. It's dangerous even if you do. Candy fuel is suicidal. You just cannot control the burn rate of candy fuel on a molecular basis. 80% of the time, the damn things blow up. Be very careful, but we're not even going to talk about that. But look at this. Look at the quality of the cuts. Look at this. Look at the side profile of the cuts from this multi-purpose tool with this half moon. And you got to know if you're right or left-handed, because you can take this bolt off. You can turn it forwards or backwards. But where you angle it is where you're gonna hold it and where you're gonna push and work with it. So multi-purpose tools, it means you can set the tool any way you want. It also came with a stainless triangular head finish sander piece, so all in one, and it was only $26. But again, these hyper tough tools, they have problems with cheap bearings, so you gotta weigh the options. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna sand this with the square sander. I don't really need. Oh yeah, no, I'm sorry, I do. Oh my goodness, what am I thinking? I'm gonna put this behind here like that, get that out of the way. This square sander, let's see, is it? Okay, so this is not necessarily wet dry sandpaper, but I got it from Harbor Freight, from Gator. I think I did. You know what, this might be the sandpaper I had to cut. Actually, I got sheets of this type of sandpaper from a 99-cent store. So there's Harbor Freight, Lowe's, Home Depot, McFadden-Dale, the electronics stores. There's also a 99-cent store and Walmart, your main suppliers. I got this stuff from 99-cent store for $1 for a bunch of sheets of sandpaper. If you're going to put it, don't panic. Just cut it to size and fit it on. I'll show you how to do that as well. But again, I swear to God, this is not tool time. This is a Rocket Minute. And it's been more than a minute. We're at 34 minutes. Here we go. What you want Make sure this angle is 90 degrees of that angle. You want square cut and everything. It's a rocket. It's not a Ferris. That is it. We're done with this piece of paper. You know what? I mean, you know, it's still a little fussy. Some of this is uneven. You're going to find that setting up the motor system, we'll show you that with assembly. This is just fabrication of parts. Setting up the motor system, these motors have to be dead even, Steven. They have to be the exact same length. When you set in the threaded receptors into the white motor tubes, everything has to be dead even, Steven, on the intermediate lower fuselage. Both the stationary motor housings. These are mobile motor housings, removable portions. Everything has to be dead even, Steven, because you're going to have 4 different motors with 4 different lengths sticking out of the back of the rocket. Now, it's going to look weeble wobble if you don't fall down. The problem is it may or may not throw off the center of gravity and center of pressure. So everything has to be even on a rocket. And anyway, I may end up violating my own rule. Just, you know, let's see. Shucks, I gotta. Yeah, that ain't gonna get done with the sander. We're not gonna go for much longer because I don't want to exceed the 1 hour mark. Having a little difficulty, these motors are kind of moving around, and like I said, this stuff, these motor tubes, the removal motion of the motor system, they have to be. Shucks, you know what? You know, I'm thinking I may have to break my own rule. Here we go. Sorry, this is the one time, and you're gonna witness my death and destruction for this. Well, okay. Now we're doing a little better. Let's oh, that's right. Oh, this sandpaper is GOA. I just want to fix these motor housings. Let me turn this off. I'll be right back with some real sandpaper. Just a second. Really cute stuff. No, that cheap sandpaper was Gator sandpaper. That is from Walmart. You get what you pay for. I bet this stuff is going to take a dump too. Let me see if I can get at least 2 minutes of use out of it. If I can't, I'll double up on it. That is a 3/4 inch grinder. It's a blunt object, but it really takes this material down. You know, folks, if you have a real machine shop, not your one-bedroom apartment in Fullerton, you can really knock this stuff out, get this stuff done more accurately. But you know, machine shops cost money, but it's up to you. That's more like it. They're not absolutely perfect, but that'll just have to do. You also can correct the straightness of the end of these with what's called a belt combination belt face sander. But if you're going to set up the deck for the face sanding portion of the unit, it has to be set up with a right angle, a metal right angle, a real one. Nothing plastic, because plastic can bend, warp, melt, or sand down. Heat treated aluminum is my preference, or even cheap tin with black printing, but it has to be set up on 2 different axes. At least you lay flat and make sure that the wheel with the holding stick, or how I said, the hold guide and the rut of the pedal of the face sander, the front of the face sander, that has to be at the right angle. Then the pusher, the guide, you have to stand that up. And that has to be at the right angle, vertical right angle, horizontal right angle. You need those 2 right angles. You've got to get something with a very, very strong face sander pedal, something that's integrated with the body of the sander itself. We'll get you that nice square can. Boy, I sound more like a machinist when I do a rocketeer. And again, I'm ashamed of myself. We're done with these, and that's it. I'm going to do the rest of the fabrication on my own. Then we're going to do another video on assembly, depending on what kind of time I have. I do have to leave at around 9:30 from my previous engagement in Costa Mesa. However, maybe I could just go to the one place and spend more money. I don't know. But I really want to stay on this. I want to get this airframe done tonight. Anyway, my name is Jason Walker. That's been an episode of The Rocket Minute. We're at 45 minutes. Ouch. So it's going to take a long time for this video to upload. I guess I'm not going to shoot a second video tonight. Anyway, Jason Waffler, your host, The Rocket Minute, 45-minute session. you know, if you got the patience, I'm going to try and increase the production value and kind of increase the entertainment value as well. But I'm not that good at that. I have aesthetic sense for rockets, but not much else. Anyway, okay, good night, you guys. We'll see you tomorrow.